It's my pleasure to now introduce our next distinguished honoree, Mark Zacher, as the recipient of this year's Tepper Alumni Achievement Award. Mark currently serves as CEO of Avantik, an integrated medical products and services company serving laboratories. Mark joined Avantik in 2023 after holding senior leadership roles in healthcare distribution and manufacturing as Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer at Owens Minor and at Thermo Fisher Scientific as Vice President and General Manager at Fisher Healthcare. He has also served as a board member of the Health Industry Distributors Association, HIDA, as well as HIDA's board chairman. Prior to Fisher Scientific, Mark held various roles at Bayer Material Science, Reichhold Chemicals, Monsanto Company, and Raytheon. An active alumnus, Mark has been a speaker, management game board member, recruiting volunteer, and reunion giving committee chair. He supports Tepper philanthropically through the annual fund, Tepper Quad Bridge, and the Accelerate Leadership Center. For his impressive career achievements and outstanding leadership in the healthcare industry, as well as for his dedicated volunteer service to the Tepper School of Business, it is our pleasure to honor Mark Zacher, MSIA 1997, with the 2024 Tepper Alumni Achievement Award. Mark.
So thank you. Good evening, everybody. This is quite an honor. When I received the call from Scott Jubik, it was actually an emotional thing for me. So I come from a family where education was strongly emphasized. My father was a professor at IUP, just down the street, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. My mother was a registered nurse. My dad's siblings, there were 7 or 8 of them, I lost count, all had degrees, many masters, PhDs. And so the group that we ran around with as a family were all in education. And so they're not here, but if they were, they'd be incredibly proud. And so when I received that call from Scott on behalf of the alumni board, I was just really pleased with that. My journey began, I remember I'd been working about 8 or 9 years and decided that we're doing fine, but decided to go back to school. And my wife, Lynn, who was videoing this with her iPhone, I see, we're talking, and so Katie, our oldest daughter, was on the scene. She was a year old. I said, honey, I think I want to go back to school. And I'm going to give up my job, and we're going to do this. And so I go through the process, get the phone call, you're in. I come home to tell Lynn, honey, guess what, I'm in, we're gonna do this. She says, that's awesome, I'm happy for you, I'm pregnant. And so that's when Nelson, our son, came on the scene shortly thereafter. She was correct, she was in fact pregnant. And that fall, in my first mini semester, our son was born. And, for a brief moment, we thought, gee, we have one child, we have another one coming, we're not gonna have income for a year and a half. Should we continue with this? And the answer was, yeah, absolutely, right? So with love and teamwork and commitment, you figure things out, and that's what we did. And when I think of Tepper, what I clearly got from Tepper was that, okay, the academics, that's a given, right? World-class academics. But aside from that was the teamwork component. I learned very quickly what my weaknesses were, surrounded by 200 plus classmates who were incredibly bright and being taught by world-class professors. I also learned what my strengths were, and I learned that when we come together and we leverage those strengths and those weaknesses, it's super clear that's the best way to carry yourself and to be successful in life. And so, generically, when I think about Tepper, it led, for me, to an inflection point in my career, as well as my personal life. And this is not a group that needs any advice from me. But I will say to anyone who will listen who's an alum from Tepper, and there'll be a few hundred out here later, just take stock, take a breath, think about what the university did for you, in my case, and that inflection point. And support the university, either in spirit, in action, or potentially financially, whatever works for the individual. And so just thank you to the university, John, thank you. Thank you to the Alumni Committee, and I just wish everybody a great evening, and let's celebrate in style tonight. Thank you.